the El Paso airport was initially placed under a 10-day airspace grounding, effectively. No flights for 10 days, according to the FAA. That restriction was lifted this morning, shortly after, only a number of hours after it was initially put into place. Sofia Perez reports on this developing situation in El Paso.
Some flights are still canceled, others are delayed after the Federal Aviation Agency's notice that the El Paso International Airport had to be closed due to a national security issue. Now, it was today at 7:30 in the morning that they have lifted this closure, and they have said that the El Paso area is now secure for all the flights that are arriving to El Paso but also departing. Now, let's take a look of what the counters look like. There's a lot of people trying to see if they can reschedule their flights, if they can still continue with their original trips that they had planned. Now, we have spoken to a lot of people in the morning, early morning, which their flights had to be canceled, which a lot of them had work flights. Others were here to take the flight to their dream vacation. Now, let's talk a little bit about what the Mayor Renard Johnson said this morning, saying that this was something unacceptable, that they were not notified by any federal agency about this closure, and that they had to know in order to collaborate and work together to make this happen.
These types of decisions have consequences. Medical evacuation flights were forced to divert to Las Cruces. All aviation operations were grounded, including emergency flights. This was a major and unnecessary disruption.
Now, something that Mayor Renard Johnson emphasizes is that El Paso is not just a pinpoint on the map. It is a big city with a lot of importance to the United States, and they have to collaborate in order to do a shutdown like the one that we saw last night here in the international airport. Now, he says that this is a borderland city that is very important to the United States, and this cannot happen in the future. Reporting from the El Paso International Airport, Sofia Perez, back to you.
Our Sofia from NBC sharing that story. That story was published around 1:30 Eastern Time. We have some updates on the background of how it appears all of this unfolded. The federal government and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tweeted earlier today, and this is the full tweet here. He said, quote, "The FAA and the Department of War acted swiftly to address a cartel drone incursion. The threat has been neutralized and there is no danger to commercial travel in the region. The restrictions have been lifted and normal flights are resuming." So the Transportation Secretary pointing to what he described as a, quote, cartel drone incursion as the reason for implementing that, what was initially deemed to be a 10-day flight restriction. New details are coming out that challenge that account of the incident in question. The Associated Press now reporting just in the last 10-15 minutes here, the AP says that and this is a quote from their story, "The sudden and surprising airspace closure over El Paso, Texas stemmed from the Pentagon's plans to test a laser for use in shooting down drones used by Mexican drug cartels," according to 3 people familiar with the situation who were granted anonymity to share sensitive details. So the AP now reporting that the flight restriction, according to their sources, appears to be over a dispute between the Pentagon and the FAA over a military test of a laser to thwart cartel drones in the El Paso area. 2 different narratives at this point. We're going to continue to stay on top of this. If you're a traveler in the El Paso area, what you do know for sure is that flights have resumed and that restriction has been lifted.